education, down, down with deportation. Up with education, down, down with deportation.
The only person in this race who actually served a border state as Attorney General to enforce our laws, and I would enforce our laws as president going forward.
She talked to voters. They're not happy. Take a look.
Is it frustrating to see all the people that have come in because they haven't been properly vetted? It's just been illegal influx. Yes. So you have a lot of criminal networks from Venezuela, from other parts of the world. I mean, mixed in with the good people, but there's so many criminals flooding in, they're not going to be able to find them all to get them out.
Exactly. Once they're in, it's a lot harder to just, get them out. So it's just a never-ending cycle with this administration.
I think at this point right now, with the amount of people that have come across on the terrorist list, we're just waiting for the next 9/11 basically to occur.
So I take it that you would not be all about open borders policy.
Oh my God,
oh, no,
who would?
No, no, no.
How about the border issue, the border crisis?
Terrible.
Yeah.
That should have never happened.
Should have never happened.
Should have never happened.
How do you feel about the fact that Kamala Harris in the past has supported the policy to use taxpayer dollars to pay for transgender surgery for illegal detained migrants?
It's ridiculous. She's spending money on people that don't even belong here, and we're not even taking care of the people that are here, even like our own vets, people that are veterans. I mean, everyday civilians that live here in our own country. We're not even dealing with our own people.
To use taxpayer dollars to do that is kind of a betrayal of us as the American people, especially us as cattle ranchers. I mean, we pay for a lot of stuff, and we work our fingers to the bone day in, day out. So to hear that, it's kind of like a backstab.
4 more years of Kamala would be a disaster.
Growing fears from Republicans, independents, Democrats about Kamala Harris and her radical beliefs. Finally, it's beginning to pierce the consciousness of the American people, and the country is waking up to how radical, extreme, and frankly dangerous her views actually are.
We'll let everyone know she's going to tackle inflation. She also wants to let everybody know that she's going to tackle the border. And rumor is she's going to head to the border on Friday. That's going to be interesting if she's going to go to the part of the border wall that President Trump's administration built. This is going to be something that she's not really done before that we could see. And the question she always comes back when you talk about the border, she goes, I'm the only one to prosecute transnational gangs. You know what? She did in 2012 and 2014. But I checked the calendar. It is 2024. The real question to her should be, when you had powerful positions like Senator from California and Vice President of the United States, what did you do? And the answer is, didn't even swing, didn't even miss, didn't care. When you were given the assignment, you punted on it, went one time, in and out in 45 minutes.
Yeah, funny you should bring up her time as a senator, because she was in a parade in LA back in 2018. She was the Grand Marshal because she was a senator. She was there with her family and Jesse Smollett, who a year later was found guilty of conducting that hoax hate crime, saying he was beat up by the MAGA people. Right. So she's in this parade, and some new video of this parade is resurfaced, and it shows her protesting against deporting migrants. Watch this.
Up with education, down, down with deportation. Up with education, down, down with deportation. Up with education, down, down with deportation. Up with education, down, down with deportation.
So there's been no examination from the other newscasters about records like this. She was a radical. And the question is she just doing this as a matter of conveniency now, saying that's not what she's going to do when she becomes the United States president?
Kamala have your support for what she's done at the border?
She absolutely does not have my support. Here in California, we want a leader who's going to support law enforcement. As you know, she helped support BLM rioters trying to bail them out of jail. She was a huge supporter of defunding the police. When you get to that little task force there collecting that methamphetamine, it was a lot of local law enforcement working hard to bring the drugs off the streets. In that particular situation, she came in, she didn't even shake law enforcement's hand. She did the soundbite and she left. What we need to do is make sure that we have a leader who's going to support law enforcement. I couldn't, in good faith, standing there alongside my colleagues, remotely give the implication that we were supporting Kamala Harris. And to note, during that time, if you research just a little bit, when she was the Attorney General under Governor Brown, she removed over 50 different task force from Bureau of Narcotic Enforcement under her command. And so that's not a leader we need for law enforcement. We need someone who's going to stand behind law enforcement, just like Donald Trump does.
Many people, I tend to believe, that this is just a ploy to get through this general election. And the real Kamala Harris is finally going to stand up once she has the pen and have control of Congress if the American people send her there. I mean, this is not the only radical position that she has as well. The funding of sex changes for illegals that come across the border. She wants to decriminalize the folks that are coming across the border. She wants to defund ICE, so that means no deportations at all.
Right.
That's what you get with a Kamala Harris presidency.
Well, when she was running for president, she took a bunch of far left positions that now she's trying to back away from. Axios actually has a report on what, she was very clear in 2019 about what she wanted to do. They've got a headline: Harris pledged in 2019 to take 4 executive actions as president that would give 2 million Dreamers a path to citizenship and shield more than 6 million undocumented migrants from deportation. Asked this week whether she'd take those same executive actions, her campaign declined to answer. And that's what the campaign does, because they won't tell us exactly if she is elected what she would do, because they want people just to kind of have a fuzzy feeling about things. She's obviously going to the southern border on Friday, and it sounds like she's going to give a speech.
It's about time.
It is about time, but here's why she's going. And we've talked a lot about how she is trailing Donald Trump by a lot when it comes to the border. In Arizona, according to the New York Times poll that came out yesterday, in Arizona, Donald Trump is beating her by 11 points in Arizona. Both of them want to win that state. But right now, Donald Trump is only ahead by 1 point in the big number in Arizona. So if she could...
You mean 11 points on the border?
Right, exactly. 11 points on the border, but only 1 point overall. So if she could peel off a couple of points of people who think that Donald Trump would do a better job, that would be a win for her.
Well, she did, you saw her down with deportation. Well, she did that. She followed through with her goal when she was vice president. ICE data has been released under the Biden and Harris administration. There was a 67% decline in removals of illegals compared to the Trump administration. In his first 3 years, he deported 485,930, so almost 500,000. Under Biden-Harris, 158,931 illegals removed.
So the question is, it's a risk. You could go down there and act tough on the border, but the problem is you have a reputation for not being tough. And when you show up there, it's going to make everyone ask themselves, do I envision her enforcing the border and getting my small town back? Also, what is your stand when it comes to these flights from other countries right into small airports in places like Westchester and Long Island and in Pennsylvania? Where do you stand on that? And the thing is, can you ever imagine Donald Trump's organization campaign responding no comment to anything to do with the border? You know exactly where he stands.
About it. Perhaps she can also give an apology to those border agents, since she citing them so much that she lied and said they were whipping Haitian migrants. It would be an appropriate time, since that's been disproven multiple times. Maybe she should shake their hand and say, I apologize for that action.
If you change your position, you at least owe the American people a reason why. I changed. I realized I was wrong. I realized in looking at the numbers, I had a very revealing meeting with an expert on what the damage that was done over the last 4 years. Just saying I changed and will not answer any questions 65 days from when you announced your candidacy is
But you have to say that
tough.
about 5 different things.
At least.
That she's flip-flopped on.
At least.
She's got a lot of explaining to do.